Penguin Random House Audio presents Grace After Henry by Eithne Shortall. Read for you by Alana Kerr Collins and Euan Morton.
Grace took out her notebook and began to tut. She made a big deal of dragging a pen from her jeans pocket and clicking it into action. "Damp," she mumbled, ostensibly to herself but purposely loud enough to be heard by the two couples also inspecting this bathroom that time had forgotten, but the carpet fitter certainly hadn't. Worn, once blue fabric, not unlike the kind that used to adorn her grandmother's bedroom, was stapled all around the sides of the tub. Grace glanced up from the avocado-coloured toilet. She tutted again. "Weak gable wall." In the mirror above the sink, she watched the reflections of her fellow house hunters. One couple was inspecting the patch of ceiling Grace had just spent a good 2 minutes frowning at, and the woman in the other pair was making panicked eyes at her partner, although he didn't pick up on this because he was too busy inspecting the boiler. Men were mad for the boilers. "That'll have to be replaced," said Grace, standing beside him, peering into the cupboard. "Hasn't been serviced since the Beatles called it a day, or so I heard the estate agent saying." Grace, who hadn't a clue about boilers, or whether bathrooms even had gable walls, gave him a sympathetic smile and sauntered out of the unhygienic 1970s lavatory and into the unhygienic 1970s kitchen. It probably wasn't necessary to be still scaring off the competition. Grace and Henry had gone sale-agreed on an end-of-terrace house on Aberdeen Street the previous week. It was right beside the Phoenix Park, which ticked more than enough boxes for Henry, and while the second bedroom was small, the house had the kind of spacious, fitted kitchen that reminded Grace why she had wanted to be a chef. They were both mad about it. But they'd had deals fall through before, and while Henry wanted to hold out for Aberdeen Street, he was convinced the Phoenix Park house was meant to be. Grace knew the shrewd move was to keep looking, just in case. She checked her phone. It was 5:45 p.m. and no messages. He had 15 minutes to get here. Henry was the master of cutting it fine. Grace, on the other hand, had been standing under the for sale sign at this east wall terrace at 5:20 p.m., 10 whole minutes before the estate agent was due to arrive. Although she drew the line at queuing, she knew from experience that as soon as the door opened, everyone was going to charge in anyway. An older couple stepped out of the kitchen as she was on her way in. Grace caught the wife's eye. "Riddled," was what she hoped her stare said. "You'd buy this dump on a Monday, and it'd have fallen in on you by Tuesday." Actually, this house wasn't that bad. Despite its psychedelic decor and a smaller kitchen than Grace might have liked, it had a converted attic and no real signs of damp. It was worth keeping their options open. "Don't think like that," Henry had said with a groan from under the duvet that morning, trying to wangle his way out of going to yet another viewing. 10 months we've been looking. Haven't we served our time? We've found our house. I don't even want to consider another one." "Well, neither do I, but reality." "Reality?" Henry scoffed, making a grab for Grace's bare legs as she sidestepped him again. "We might jinx it by looking elsewhere. Aberdeen Street is going to work out, I'm telling you. I can feel it." Grace, standing half-dressed on the pile of newspapers that continually carpeted Henry's side of the bedroom, extracted the toothbrush from her mouth. "Let me guess. You're going to tell me it's fate." "Exactly. And I feel another part of our destiny involves going to see the original Mad Max."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?